So, um, back when I was growing up, we had this rule. It was called doorknob, and you're probably well familiar with it already. But for those of you who need to have it explained, doorknob was where if a gentleman in class passes gas in any manner, in a detectable manner, we all yell, doorknob! And then proceed to pummel the culprit with a severe lack of mercy until he or she, equal opportunity, even back then, touches a doorknob. Thus, doorknob. This rule was fast in place until we grew a little older, and then doorknob became what was more important, which was pubs. Yeah. And the rule of pubs, for those of you also still not in the know, was that if an individual cut the detectable cheese, they would be subject to vicious, merciless beatings, again, male or female, of course, until they could name 5 local pubs. 5 local pubs. Now, as you're probably wondering at this particular juncture, what were we to do about SBVs? The SBV. Of course, silent. But violent. Deadly's not good enough. Violent. Which, of course, were a variety far harder to distinguish the originating source from. I do find it still ironic, and it's true even in my current age, that the farts that produced the least sound were probably the ones that produced the most rank of odors, foul stenches to stop the very hearts of man and beast. Of course, later on, I came to realize that really it's not much of a mystery other than just the property of matter, physics and nature itself. Naturally, the harshest reeking flatch would be the ones that contain the most methane. And as methane has a higher viscosity than the other gases involved with the human digestion, fluid dynamics dictates that the most squalid of all windbreakings would produce the least identifiable sound. Of course, making the most noteworthy of doorknobs and pubs, the hardest ones to figure out. On that note, back during WW2, World War II, for those of you, again, not in the know, there was a famous Jewish family known as the Franks. You should have heard of them. Story goes, they would consume, lots of cabbage. Now, people thought it was because times were tough and this was all that they could get snuck to them while they were hiding in their famous enamelware factory custodialware closet. But, actually, they sought out cabbage strategically, brilliantly, I think. Anyone on the other side of the border would tell you. Their intention was to produce the most methane-rich, and thus quietest gas as humanly possible. And the result was that they managed to survive several years undetected. But the severe gas caused much bickering amongst their ranks, and from what I understand, that was the reason for the divorce between Mr. and Mrs. Frank. Of course, the divorce wasn't recognized by the state until well after their unfortunate deaths. But essentially, they weren't really being taxed during the time anyway. So, that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I purchased a fleet of Korean lunch trucks. Well, I don't know. It seemed important